Have you noticed we have the most comfortable generation in history, and yet the most anxious? We have food in seconds, entertainment in milliseconds, opinions in abundance, and still strength feels rare. Stay with me till the end because the last lessons will truly change your perspective on what strength really means in today's world. My dear friends, many of you feel tired, not physically, but mentally. You feel distracted, restless, slightly dissatisfied, even when life looks fine on the outside. You scroll, but you don't feel fulfilled. You achieve, but you don't feel accomplished. You connect, but you don't feel connected. And somewhere deep inside, there is a quiet whisper asking, why do I feel weaker when life is easier? The truth is, modern life is subtly designed to weaken your focus, your patience, your discipline, and even your sense of purpose. But today, we are going to reclaim that strength. Let us walk through 7 powerful lessons, 7 awakenings that will help you rise above this design and become consciously strong. And please do not miss the last few lessons. They contain the heart of this transformation. Let us begin with something very subtle: comfort. We are living in the most comfortable era in human history. You don't have to walk miles for water. You don't have to hunt for food. You don't have to hunt for food. You don't even have to stand up to switch off the light. Everything bends to your convenience, and slowly, without you realizing it, you begin to bend to convenience. Comfort is beautiful. It is a blessing. But when comfort becomes your default setting, it quietly starts stealing your strength. I once met a young professional who told me, "I feel stuck. I don't feel confident. I don't feel powerful." I asked him a simple question: "What uncomfortable thing are you doing every day?" He looked at me and smiled nervously. "Honestly, none. I try to avoid discomfort." There lies the problem. Confidence is not built in comfort. Courage is not built in comfort. Character is not built in comfort. They are forged in friction. When you wake up and press the snooze button for the 3rd time, what are you really doing? You are choosing comfort over commitment. When you avoid difficult conversations because they feel awkward, you are choosing comfort over growth. When you delay starting something new because you might fail, you are choosing comfort over courage. Modern life makes that choice very easy. Food arrives at your doorstep. Entertainment is one click away. If you feel bored for even 10 seconds, you reach for your phone. If you feel slightly uncomfortable in a conversation, you escape into a screen. If work becomes challenging, you distract yourself. You don't even have to experience boredom anymore. But boredom is powerful. Boredom forces creativity. Discomfort forces adaptation. Challenge forces growth. Think of a seed planted in the soil. For the seed to grow, it must crack open. Imagine if the seed said, "I don't want to break. I prefer staying comfortable." It would never become a tree. The breaking is not the destruction. The breaking is the beginning. In the gym, when you lift weights, your muscles tear slightly. It sounds painful, but that tearing is what allows them to rebuild stronger. If you say, "I don't want that discomfort," you will remain physically weak. The same principle applies to your mind and character. Modern life sells you ease, but ease does not equal strength. Let me share something personal. There was a time when I had to speak in front of a large audience for the first time. My hands were sweating. My voice was shaky. I wanted to run away. That moment was uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. But had I chosen comfort that day, I would never have discovered what I was capable of. Your potential is always waiting on the other side of discomfort. But here's the trick: comfort doesn't look dangerous. It looks pleasant. It feels harmless. It feels harmless. It whispers gently, you deserve to relax. You deserve to take it easy. And yes, you do deserve rest. But rest should follow effort, not replace it. When comfort becomes constant, effort becomes optional. And when effort becomes optional, growth becomes accidental. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you did something that scared you a little? When was the last time you pushed your limits intentionally? When was the last time you chose discipline over desire? If you cannot remember, it is not because you are incapable. It is because modern life has made comfort so accessible that discomfort feels unnatural. But strength lives in what feels unnatural. You don't build resilience by avoiding storms. You build resilience by walking through them. You don't build patience by getting everything instantly. You build patience by waiting with faith. You don't build self-respect by pleasing everyone. You build self-respect by standing for what is right, even when it is inconvenient. Comfort is not the enemy. Attachment to comfort is. Use comfort as a tool, not as a home. Sleep well, but wake up with purpose. Relax, but return to responsibility. Enjoy convenience, but do not let it define you. Because if you do not train yourself to handle discomfort, the smallest challenge will feel like a crisis. A minor setback will feel like a catastrophe. A little criticism will feel like an attack. Strength is not about lifting heavy things. It is about carrying pressure without breaking, pressure without breaking. And that ability is developed only when you regularly step outside your comfort zone. Start small. Take cold showers occasionally. Wake up a little earlier. Have that difficult conversation. Learn that new skill. Say no when it is uncomfortable. Say yes when it stretches you. Every small act of chosen discomfort is a vote for your future strength. Modern life may be designed to make everything easier for you, but your destiny is not to be comfortable. Your destiny is to be capable. And capability is born when you willingly choose growth over comfort again and again until discomfort no longer scares you, it strengthens you. This is where real transformation begins. Now let us go deeper into something even more dangerous than comfort: distraction. If comfort makes you slow, distraction makes you scattered, and a scattered mind can never be a strong mind. Have you noticed something? You sit down to do one task, just one. Within 5 minutes, a notification pops up. You check it. Then another. Then you remember a message you forgot to reply to. Then suddenly, you are watching a video you never planned to watch. 30 minutes gone, not because you are lazy, but because your attention was stolen. And attention, my dear friends, is life. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, your life grows. Modern life is built on capturing your attention. Apps are engineered to be addictive. Platforms are designed to keep you scrolling. Even news is packaged to provoke emotion, because emotional content keeps you engaged longer. You are not weak. You are being trained to be distracted. Let me tell you a simple story. A monk once told his student to carry a lamp through a windy path at night. The student asked why. The monk replied, "To teach you focus." The wind tried to blow the flame out. Sounds from the forest tried to pull his attention away. But the student realized that if he focused on protecting the flame, everything else became background noise. Your attention is that flame. Today, the wind is stronger than ever. Notifications, advertisements, social media, endless opinions, they are all winds trying to blow out your inner clarity. When you constantly switch tasks, your mind never rests deeply enough to think clearly. You become reactive instead of reflective. You respond instantly instead of responding wisely. And over time, something dangerous happens. You lose the ability to sit with yourself. Try this experiment. Sit alone for 10 minutes, without your phone, without music, without distraction. Just sit. Many people feel restless within 2 minutes. Why? Because silence feels uncomfortable when your mind is addicted to stimulation. Distraction gives you the illusion of engagement, but it steals your depth. Have you noticed how difficult it has become to read a book for an hour without checking your phone, or to have a long conversation without glancing at a screen, or to work on one project without multitasking? We praise multitasking, but the brain does not truly multitask. It switches rapidly, and every switch costs mental energy. Over time, your ability to focus deeply weakens. And without focus, there is no mastery. A musician cannot master an instrument with distraction. An athlete cannot master their sport with distraction. A leader cannot master their vision with distraction. And you cannot master your life with distraction. Let me ask you something gently. How much of your day is intentional and how much is reactive? Do you decide when to check you? But here's the funny thing. Or does your phone decide when you check it? Do you choose your thoughts or do algorithms choose them for you? This is not about rejecting technology. Technology is powerful. It can educate you, connect you, inspire you, but when used unconsciously, it weakens your discipline. Distraction also affects your emotions. When you constantly consume information, you absorb other people's fears, anger, excitement, drama. Your nervous system never fully relaxes. You feel tired without doing physical work. You feel mentally drained without knowing why. Because your brain has been running a marathon. Focus is strength. Clarity is strength. Stillness is strength. But strength requires boundaries. Start with small practices. Decide fixed times to check messages. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Keep your phone away during meals. Protect the first hour of your morning from digital noise. That first hour sets the tone of your entire day. If you begin your day with scrolling, you begin your day reacting. If you begin your day with reflection, gratitude, exercise, or planning, you begin your day leading. Distraction also robs you of presence. You sit with family, but your mind is elsewhere. You walk in nature, but you are capturing it instead of experiencing it. You attend meetings, but you are half listening. Presence is a gift. When you give someone your full attention, you give them respect. But here's the funny thing. When you give yourself your full attention, you give yourself growth. A distracted life may look busy, but it rarely feels meaningful. Let me tell you something powerful. The ability to focus in a distracted world is a superpower. And like any superpower, it must be trained. At first, you will feel uncomfortable. You will want to reach for your phone. Your mind will crave stimulation. That craving is not weakness. It is withdrawal from constant dopamine hits. Be patient with yourself. Every time you resist unnecessary distraction, you strengthen your willpower. Every time you complete a task without interruption, you build self-trust. Every time you choose depth over scrolling, you reclaim control. Remember this. If you don't control your attention, something else will. Modern life is not evil, but it is noisy, and noise weakens clarity. Your job is not to escape the world. Your job is to navigate it consciously. Protect your attention like you would protect your health. Because your future, your relationships, your career, your peace of mind depends on where you consistently place your focus. And when you learn to guard your attention, you will notice something beautiful. Your thoughts become clearer, your decisions become wiser, your emotions become steadier, and slowly, the scattered mind becomes a centered one. That is when real strength begins to return. Now, let us talk about something that silently eats away at your confidence every single day: comparison. Earlier, we compared ourselves with a few people around us. Maybe a classmate, a colleague, a neighbor. Today, before you even get out of bed, you have compared your life with hundreds of people across the world. You open your phone, and within seconds, you see someone traveling in Switzerland, someone launching a startup at 23, someone buying a house, someone getting married, someone flaunting a perfect body, someone celebrating an achievement, and your mind whispers very softly, "You are behind." That whisper is dangerous. Modern life has made comparison constant and unavoidable. But what we don't realize is that we are comparing our raw, unfiltered, behind the scenes reality to someone else's carefully edited highlights. It is like comparing your rehearsal to someone else's final performance. Let me ask you something honestly. When was the last time someone posted their failure, even with the same excitement as their success? When was the last time someone shared their loneliness with the same confidence as their celebration? Very rarely. We are consuming curated perfection, and slowly, without noticing, our self-worth becomes dependent on how we measure up. A young girl once told me, "I feel like everyone is doing better than me." I asked her, "Better according to whom?" She paused. She didn't know. That is the trap. Comparison creates a race that has no finish line. Even if you win today, tomorrow there will be someone richer, smarter, fitter, more successful. And if your happiness depends on being ahead, you will never feel at peace. Do you know why a rose never tries to become a sunflower? Because it understands its nature. But here's the funny thing: a sunflower does not wake up in the morning thinking, "I wish I had the fragrance of a rose." It simply turns toward the sun and blooms fully. But human beings, we spend so much time looking sideways that we forget to grow upward. Your journey is unique. You have different circumstances, different talents, different timing, different struggles. Comparing two lives is like comparing two books by reading random pages from each. You see someone at chapter 20 while you are at chapter 10, but you do not know what their chapter 5 looked like. You do not know what challenges they overcame quietly. Comparison also creates insecurity in areas that were never a problem before. You were happy with your progress until you saw someone doing better. You were content with your body until you saw an edited image. You were proud of your job until someone else announced a promotion. Your peace was stolen not because your life changed, but because your perspective shifted. And here is something very important. Comparison shifts your focus from growth to validation. Instead of asking, "Am I improving?" you start asking, "Am I ahead?" Instead of asking, "Am I learning?" you start asking, "Am I learning?" You start asking, "Am I impressing?" Modern platforms are designed to keep you chasing validation, likes, comments, views, applause. But applause does not build character, it builds ego. And ego is fragile. The moment applause stops, insecurity begins. Let me share something deeply spiritual with you. Your worth is intrinsic, it is not earned through comparison. It is not increased by achievement, it is not decreased by failure. You are valuable because you exist. But when you forget this truth, you start outsourcing your self-esteem to strangers. You allow numbers on a screen to define how you feel about yourself. That is weakness, not because you are incapable, but because you are unaware. Comparison also robs you of gratitude. Instead of appreciating what you have, you fixate on what you lack. Gratitude says, I have enough. Comparison says I need more. Gratitude builds strength. Comparison builds anxiety. If you constantly measure your life against others, you will never fully celebrate your own progress. Here is a powerful shift. Compete with who you were yesterday. Are you slightly kinder, slightly more disciplined, slightly more patient, slightly more focused? That is real growth. When you make yourself your benchmark, you reclaim control. You stop running someone else's race. And something beautiful happens when you stop comparing, you start appreciating. You celebrate others without feeling threatened. You learn from them instead of envying them. You feel inspired instead of insecure. Imagine living in a world where someone else's success motivates you instead of diminishes you. That is emotional maturity. Modern life will continue to display curated success in front of you. You cannot control that, but you can control how you interpret it. When you see someone, me shining, remind yourself, their light does not reduce mine. The sky has room for millions of stars. Your timeline is not wrong. Your pace is not wrong. Your path is not wrong. It is yours. And when you stop looking sideways and start looking inward, you rediscover your power. Because real strength is not about being better than others. It is about becoming the best version of yourself. Steadily, humbly, patiently, and once you understand that, comparison loses its power over you. Now let us reflect on something that has quietly reshaped our character. Instant gratification. We live in a time where waiting feels like suffering. If a video buffers for 5 seconds, we get irritated. If someone doesn't reply to a message immediately, we feel ignored. If success doesn't come quickly, we feel like failures. Patience has become uncomfortable. But life does not operate at the speed of the internet. Nature does not rush. A tree does not grow overnight. A child does not become an adult in a week. The sun does not rise faster because we are impatient. And yet, modern life trains us to expect immediate rewards. You post something, you check how many likes it got within minutes. You start a new habit, you expect visible results within days. You begin a relationship, you expect instant emotional depth. When results are delayed, motivation drops. That is how strength slowly weakens. Let me share something simple. Imagine planting a seed today. Tomorrow you dig it up to check if it's growing. The next day you dig it up again. What will happen? It will never grow. Growth requires trust in the process, but instant gratification destroys trust. It makes you dependent on quick feedback. Earlier generations worked for years before seeing results. Today, we are conditioned to expect transformation in weeks. If it doesn't happen, we assume something is wrong with the plan, with the opportunity, or with ourselves. Nothing may be wrong. The problem may simply be impatience. When you constantly chase instant pleasure, scrolling, snacking, binge watching, impulsive shopping, your brain gets used to quick dopamine spikes. Hard work, which offers delayed rewards, begins to feel boring. Discipline starts to feel heavy. Consistency starts to feel heavy. Consistency starts to feel exhausting. Commitment starts to feel restrictive. But meaningful success is built on delayed gratification. An athlete trains for years before standing on a podium. A musician practices thousands of hours before performing confidently. A business grows through seasons of invisible effort before becoming visible. If they quit because results were not instant, we would never know their names. Modern life has made pleasure easy and purpose difficult. And when pleasure becomes easy, purpose requires extraordinary commitment. Let me ask you gently, how many things have you started and abandoned because results were slow? A fitness routine, a meditation practice, learning a skill, building a relationship, building a relationship. We often give up not because we are incapable, but because we are uncomfortable with waiting. Patience is not passive, it is active trust. It is waking up every day and doing what is required even when there is no applause. It is choosing long term growth over short term pleasure. Think about relationships. Real trust is not built in a week, it grows through consistency, honesty, forgiveness, time. If you expect instant emotional intimacy, you may mistake intensity for depth. The same applies to self confidence. Confidence is not created by one motivational video, it is created by small promises kept to yourself over time. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you deposit trust in yourself. And trust compounded daily becomes unshakable belief. But instant gratification interrupts this compounding process. It whispers, "Why struggle now? Enjoy now." And enjoyment is beautiful when it is balanced. The problem is not pleasure. The problem is dependence on immediate pleasure. When you cannot delay gratification, you weaken your resilience. A small delay frustrates you. A minor setback discourages you. A slow result demotivates you. Patience builds emotional stamina. There is a powerful story about bamboo trees. For years after planting, nothing visible happens above the ground. You water it daily, nourish it, care for it, and still nothing seems to grow. Then suddenly, in a short span, it shoots up rapidly. But the rapid growth was possible because of years of invisible root development. Your efforts may be like that. Just because progress is not visible does not mean it is not happening. When you train yourself to value process over speed, you become unstoppable. You no longer panic when results are delayed. You no longer feel inferior when someone progresses faster. You understand that deep foundations take time, and here is something spiritually beautiful. Patience aligns you with faith. It teaches you to do your duty without obsessing over outcomes. You focus on effort. You surrender results. That surrender brings peace. Modern life encourages urgency, but not everything urgent is important. The most important things, character, wisdom, trust, spiritual depth, grow slowly. If you rush them, they remain shallow. So the next time you feel impatient, pause. Ask yourself, am I chasing quick pleasure, or am I building lasting strength? Because the ability to delay gratification is a sign of maturity. It shows that you are guided by purpose, not impulses. And when you master this, something shifts within you. You become calmer, more stable, less reactive, more focused. You realize that life is not a sprint for applause. It is a marathon of steady growth, and strength belongs to those who are willing to wait, war, care, and trust the timing of their journey. Now let us speak about something that many people misunderstand: responsibility. In today's world, it is very easy to blame. If things go wrong, we blame the system. We blame our parents. We blame our parents. We blame the economy. We blame society. And sometimes, yes, circumstances are unfair. Life is not always balanced. Not everyone starts from the same place. But here is a powerful truth. Even if something is not your fault, it can still be your responsibility. And that shift changes everything. When you constantly blame, you give away your power. Because if someone else is responsible for your situation, then someone else must fix it. And you wait, and you complain, and you feel helpless. Blame creates victims. Responsibility creates leaders. Let me share something simple. Imagine you are driving a car and someone else crashes into you. It was not your fault. But whose responsibility is it to fix your car? Yours. You can stand on the road and shout, "It's not fair," and you would be right. But your car would still be broken. Responsibility is not about accepting guilt, it is about accepting control. Modern culture often glorifies outrage. It rewards complaints, it amplifies frustration, and slowly we begin to feel that expressing anger is more important than finding solutions. But strength lies in ownership. When you say, "This is my life, my choices, my reactions," you reclaim control. Notice something very subtle. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. If someone criticizes you, you can react defensively, or you can reflect calmly. If you fail, you can blame circumstances, or you can ask, "What can I learn?" If you are unhappy in your job, you can complain daily, or you can build new skills quietly and prepare for change. Responsibility is empowering because it shifts your focus from what you cannot control to what you can. A young man once told me, "My parents never supported my dreams. That's why I'm stuck." I listened patiently and then asked him, "How long will you let that define your future?" There was silence. We cannot change yesterday, but we can shape tomorrow. When you hold on to blame, you stay emotionally attached to the past. When you take responsibility, you step into the future. Responsibility also strengthens identity. If you don't take ownership of your life, you will constantly be influenced by others' opinions. Your mood will depend on how people treat you. Your confidence will depend on how people validate you. Your confidence will depend on how people validate you. But when you take responsibility, you become internally anchored. You begin to say, "My discipline is my responsibility. My growth is my responsibility. My health is my responsibility. My peace is my responsibility." And suddenly, excuses start disappearing. Responsibility is not always glamorous. It means waking up early, even when you are tired. It means admitting when you are wrong. It means apologizing first sometimes. It means choosing integrity when no one is watching. It also means being accountable for your emotional reactions. If someone makes a rude comment and you carry that anger for 3 days, who is suffering? You are. Taking responsibility for your emotions means asking, "Why did this affect me so deeply?" Instead of saying, "They ruined my day." That awareness builds emotional strength. Modern life encourages external focus. What others are doing, what others are saying, what others are achieving. Responsibility shifts the focus inward. What am I doing? That question is powerful. Are you investing in your growth daily? Are you improving your skills? Are you managing your time wisely? Are you nurturing your relationships? When you ask these questions consistently, you stop drifting. But here's the funny thing, start directing. There is something spiritually beautiful about responsibility. It aligns you with purpose. When you see yourself as a caretaker of your life, of your talents, your body, your time, you treat them with respect. You don't waste your abilities. You don't waste your energy on endless complaints. You don't waste your potential blaming circumstances forever. Even in difficult situations, responsibility gives you dignity. A person who says, "I will do what I can with what I have," radiates strength. That doesn't mean suppressing pain. It means channeling it constructively. Life may not always be fair, but strength does not grow in fairness. It grows in accountability. When you choose responsibility, you become proactive instead of reactive. You prepare instead of panic. You adapt instead of complain. You act instead of argue endlessly. And here is something very important: responsibility builds self respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you respect yourself more. Every time you correct your mistake instead of hiding it, you respect yourself more. Every time you choose growth over excuses, your inner confidence deepens. Self respect is quiet strength. Modern life may tempt you to point fingers, but pointing fingers never builds muscle, emotional, or mental. Ownership does. So the next time something goes wrong, pause before blaming. Ask yourself, what part of this can I own? What can I improve? What can I learn? Even a small shift in response can change your trajectory. Because when you take responsibility, you stop waiting for rescue. You become your own catalyst for change. And that is when weakness begins to transform into power. My dear friends, modern life may be fast. It may be noisy. It may constantly pull you toward comfort, distraction, comparison, impatience, and blame. But remember this: you are not a product of your environment. You are a product of your awareness. The world may be designed to test your strength, but your soul was designed to rise above it. You are not here merely to consume comfort. You are here to create character. You are not here merely to chase validation. You are here to discover purpose. And purpose is never built accidentally. It is built consciously, choice by choice, day by day. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you grow stronger. You grow stronger. Every time you choose gratitude over comparison, you grow wiser. Every time you choose responsibility over blame, you grow powerful. Every time you choose patience over impulse, you grow unshakable. And when you place faith at the center of your life, something extraordinary happens. Fear slowly takes the back seat. Clarity steps forward. Peace becomes natural. Because when you trust that there is a higher design guiding your journey, you stop panicking over temporary setbacks. You start walking with courage instead of anxiety. Faith does not remove challenges. It reminds you that challenges are shaping you. So begin today, not tomorrow. Not when conditions are perfect. Not when motivation magically appears. Begin with one conscious action. Wake up with intention. Protect your focus. Choose growth. Take responsibility. Practice gratitude. Trust the process. And remember this timeless truth: true strength is not built by the world being easy. It is built by you becoming aware. Happiness is not about controlling everything around you. It is about mastering what is within you. And when you put faith first, weakness naturally loses its grip. Walk forward with courage. Live with awareness. Act with responsibility. Because true success is living consciously, joyfully, and purposefully. And you are far stronger than this modern world wants you to believe.